Well. Here we are.
Hey,
Hey, Kim.
I was
Episode
sitting back here. I
5.
didn't hear the intro.
You didn't hear it? Did
No.
they? You didn't hear it? Hey, did you
Uh-uh.
guys hear it? Did anybody hear the intro in the chat? Could you just confirm that my mic, that everything's working okay? Hmm. I can't even see. I don't know why you wouldn't have heard it.
Because I hear you fine right now.
You do hear
Okay,
me. Okay.
they
They
heard
heard
it.
it. All right. So it was your.
I
All right.
it just
Thanks,
didn't play on
Kim.
my end for some reason.
That's okay. As long as you can hear me, I think we can
Yeah,
go on. If you're comfortable, we'll just go on.
I
Yeah.
am.
Okay. Well, like I don't know how comfortable I am because it's the last one. I'm
I
a little
know.
emotional. Like that
I
was
know.
such
Me
a
too.
I was really starting to, and I mean, I enjoy every episode. I mean, I enjoyed the pre-show episode we did. And then to actually be able to talk about new episodes while they're fresh instead of like years old was really a lot of fun. So I'm a little
Right?
sad, but what a way to end the season. But was it the end? Was it the beginning?
Was it the
Like what
end?
the end? Was it the end? That's my
Or
question. Mm-hmm.
do we have
That
something new with Red Mirror?
Well, here we go, because that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about Demon 79, which is season 6, episode 5. Supposedly the last episode of season 6. But
Right?
from what I'm reading in Charlie Brooker interviews, and correct me if I'm wrong, Kim, but I've been reading a lot. Charlie's talking a lot lately. A lot.
Charlie has
Like,
been out
Charlie
there.
Charlie's giving the bear a run for her money on the most words out there on the internet right now. I'm telling you. And that's something. And y'all know it because I could talk like I could run circles around just like chatterboxes. But he's actually talking a lot. And one of the things that
He
he's
is.
been inferring to, but not coming right out and saying, is that we're watching the whole season in the wrong order.
Yeah,
That we should start with Demon 79 and go back. And so now I'm gonna have to
exactly.
rewatch it again
I
because
know.
I
I'm
only
gonna have
watch
to.
right I only watch it right before because I want to be fresh and I want my, instead of
Right?
like the other episodes where I overanalyzed everything because I watched it like 5, 6, 7
I
times. And
know.
each time you felt different because I would wait long periods of time in between. And life in general would be different. So it would hit me different, you know? Like the last
Exactly.
time I started it was going over Black Mirror was during the pandemic. While it was on hiatus, everything was done.
Right?
And I redid every episode, and you've done a lot of them with me, Kim. A
Oh,
lot of like
yes.
most. Okay. Um, and granted, I did start the series with someone else, but it's true, the passion there for Black Mirror, no matter who was up here, was there.
Right.
So and Kim, she's actually been here since the beginning because if she wasn't up here with me, she was in chat throwing stuff at me
I was
constantly.
I was spamming the
Constantly.
chat. I was like
I
the
said,
only one typing in chat.
exactly. And I was like, finally, I'm like, Kim, just get up here. Like, it would save your fingers. Just get up here. Like, grab a mic and let's just get it done. Because, like, all this typing back and forth, come on. Eh,
I know.
but, to hear that we read it backwards, we're going to have to actually, first, before we even talk about this episode, I am going to just put the premise out there that this is not the last episode of this particular season 6 series on my channel. Within the next few weeks, maybe 2 3, after we digest it all the way again, I would like to do a show just on the season itself as a whole, and the
Yes.
whole premise of it, to try to, I don't know, try to make some sense out of it, because I've
Right.
been confused at quite a few of the episodes. Although I'll say, I can't say that I didn't enjoy watching them all,
Right.
in some way. Like, they
They
were
all hit
definitely a
me in
Brooker
different
ride.
ways.
They're
Yeah, they all
pretty.
just hit me different.
Yeah, they're filmed beautifully. The years are captured. One thing I wanted to mention was actually this season, I'm noticing the costume director is actually so on point with everything that they're putting
Oh,
out there for the
definitely.
different errors, and I wanted to give them a nod because normally I'm like praising cinematography left and right because it is
Right,
shot beautifully and it does bring you into the error. It brings you into how people are feeling, the little subtle things in the coloring and the camera angles in that they use to just draw emotion out of you or to tell you things they're not actually telling you. Like there are no
right,
words. There's nothing to make you believe it except for it gives you that feeling, and that's just cinematography at its best. So I always give them a good nod there. And let me read just like the actual for this episode. Okay, cinematography was Stephen Pehrsson, right? But the
right,
costume director was Matthew Price, and
correct.
just nods to them both. Okay. Also, this one Bashi Ali actually wrote this one with Brooker. He didn't write this one
Yes,
by himself. Okay.
no,
And let's just get the elephant in the room out of the way. This episode was originally written not to be part of Black Mirror. And he
right,
admits it, he says it, he wanted it to be a standalone for something else. And that is why we get all these inferences for Black Mirror to Red Mirror kind of thing.
uh-huh,
Now they're promoting it as the actual first nod towards Red Mirror, whatever Red Mirror tends to be.
right.
Mhm. Just a brief announcement for the channel. Thank you so much, Autistic Shill, who
Yes,
just gifted
thank you.
5 memberships to the channel, which went to Liam, Wrecker, Jujubee, The Rocket Couch, and Mrs. Cassandra. So thank you very much. I hope you all enjoy your 30-day membership. You're all already in the Discord except for Jujubee because she doesn't Discord. But
Right,
if you change your mind at any time, Jujubee, you let me know because you've earned a pass in there no matter what.
girl.
So you just have to get a
Exactly.
Discord account and you're in. Okay.
Yeah,
Um, you've had quite a few memberships. You got some time to make up. so,
yeah.
all right. So, but thank you very much, Shill. Your support means so much. Thank you for being a wonderful mod and for always giving a nod to the good content. I appreciate your input. I really do. On that. Hmm on that. If my mic sounds a little off or if there's anything going on with the sound, I will admit that I changed a few things. So everybody speak up. I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you because I want to be better and I don't want to annoy you. I really don't. But yeah, nor do I want to annoy my co-host by ignoring her right now. So let me finish with that channel stuff. I will actually, so I don't have to do it. I will before anybody else reminds me. There it is.
Put your
Okay.
banner up.
The banner's up. YouTubey things done. Okay. Well, I got one more member message, Kim, and then on to you. I'm gonna let you tell them what the episode's about. How's that?
Okay.
Um, Autistic Shill. 14 months you've been here. You've had to endure the Karen for that long, and you're still around to tell about it. Yes, and I love you for it too. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I hope you're here for another 14 months. I hope I am too. I sound phenomenal today. Well, thank you very much, MC Wrecker. Coming from like an audio music man, that's quite the compliment. So thank you. Juju B, you do look better in green. You do, Juju.
Yeah, we like Juju and Green.
We do. Hey, welcome, Craving. Okay, let's have an entire discussion about your mic. No, let's not, Craven. Let's
No.
not. Okay. No, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't crackling. But hey, I'll talk to you later in Discord if you want, because it's a spectacular one, by the way. It actually is. It was a good find. Now, Kim, Brooker,
Yes, Claire.
Demon
Brooker.
79. Now,
Demon 79.
it was a movie, like a
It was a
short movie.
movie. Yes,
Yeah.
it was. It
So,
was a movie within the Black Mirror universe.
or was it in the Black Mirror universe, or is it the Red Mirror
Or
universe?
is Red Mirror going to be a sister universe to Black Mirror?
Or was it red before it was black? Because we're back in time?
Could have
These
been.
these are the
These
questions.
are the questions.
These are the questions. Stay tuned.
That's right.
Yes, these are the questions that we're going to try to answer as we go
Yeah.
forward. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't know how many of you in the chat got the chance to watch it. I hope you did. And if you didn't, I think it's worth it just seeing as a separate episode on its own, whether you see any of the other Black Mirror episodes from this season. If you haven't started the season, do me a favor and start with this one and go backwards. Because I want to know what that's like without having seen it before. So there. Hey Hillary, welcome. It's good to see you here. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna welcome you. We're gonna point you out too and say,
Of
"Hey,
course.
nice to
Yeah,
have you
we're gonna
here."
point you out.
I hope you
Must
watched the episode. Yes, and
you
if you
watched
did,
it with
yes,
me.
yes.
We
And
watched
how
it
long was that
together.
discussion? And how long was your first discussion? Because our first discussion after watching it was like, huh? Like, oh, we didn't have any. I'll tell you, it was very short. We didn't really have a lot to say, really. But Kim, tell them about the episode for those that
Okay.
may not have
And
watched it
for
yet.
anyone that doesn't know, Hillary is my daughter. She does belong to me.
Mm-hmm.
So if you see me like posting things to her, that's why. Because she is mine.
Listen, the
And
same rules
I
apply to
can
you as everybody. Do not you cannot harass her even if she is your child in the chat. You leave her alone, okay?
no, I'll do it
This
in
is
text.
do it in text. Do it
'Cause
privately.
we're actually
Yeah.
in different rooms right now.
Because Hillary, this is a safe space. Say your opinion
It
about it, whatever
is.
you want.
It
Whatever you
is.
want. You go ahead and say it.
And
Yeah.
you know I love you, my Hilly girl. So
Yeah.
okay. Demon 79. This one was different, but I liked it. I really did like it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we start out and we meet Nida. And Claire, did you know what her last name was?
Huck.
Yes,
Yeah.
which is a nod
Are
to
you
Charlie
absolutely
Brooker's wife.
exactly shocked that I could pronounce that, right? But you know why, right? You know why I could pronounce it.
I know.
It's Charlie
Yeah.
Brooker's wife, was it's not that I could aspire to that or would want to, but still. But we know he's not ever gonna call me now. Not after that last episode.
I
Like,
I know. I know.
yeah. So anyway.
But yeah, that that and then if you think about it, her name sounds like need a hug,
It does. It is.
which
And you know
she
what?
kind of does need a hug.
She should have took a hug instead of like doing what she
Oh
did.
yeah,
But I feel
she
her. Like
definitely should have.
I
Yeah,
actually that actress was phenomenal. I
she
loved
was
her.
good. Did you know that she was
The
also
fake
in
mhm.
Nosedive?
Yes, she was. Yes. Yes, she was.
Uh-huh.
And her facial expressions, come
Oh,
on.
she's got the best
She
faces,
she does. And she doesn't care if she looks ridiculous or what. Like she gets it done. Like it was
right?
so good. It was so good. But the premise is we're in England, okay? In hmm,
Yes, we
nine
are in
yeah,
England.
in
We live
19 is it 70?
1979.
1979.
Yeah.
Okay, we're talking bushy hair, platform shoes,
Oh yeah,
disco, like it
disco.
was,
It
it
was
was
great.
so fun, and that's what
Yeah.
I mean about costume because, well,
Oh, the
neat.
costuming was perfect.
Yes,
It was
as
absolutely
indicated by
perfect.
Nita's encounter, Nita hug. Okay,
Uh-huh.
um she was just an average person, right? Just an
She
everyday,
was
like everybody could
very
relate to her. Yeah.
right. Everyone could. And she worked in the shoe department for a department store called Postal.
Mm-hmm.
And there everyone was in very drab clothing.
Mm-hmm.
And from the shoe department, Nita was able to see this beautiful red leather jacket, which she kind of admired
Mm-hmm.
a lot.
Oh, but that
And
coworker. Oh God.
oh,
Yeah.
Vicky, I
Yeah,
did not like Vicky.
Vicky was like when you get out of school and you were the mean girl, like you were the friend of the popular girl, and then
Yeah.
high school ended and the popular girl went off and lived her life and left you in the dirt. And then
Uh-huh.
you're the mean girl that used to have people around you. So you just like you're just like making fun of everybody, insulting everybody that you
Yeah,
can. Like, and
yeah.
she was very racist, like,
Very,
because
very racist.
Nita is obviously British
Nita,
Indian,
right,
or right, and she's like
right.
eating ethnic food that is
Yes.
wonderful, but
Oh,
like, coworker is like, "Did you have to eat it in here? Like, we can
yeah. It
smell it."
makes
Like, ew,
everything
ew.
smell.
Yeah.
And,
Mm.
I love a good curry. I love that smell. To
Yeah,
me,
but
it's just kind of
there was a strong undercurrent of complete
oh,
racism
yeah. Oh, yeah.
towards British Indians, which is
Uh-huh.
a very large community, by the way,
It is
there.
very
And
large
it okay,
community, but it was
because
very
being
prevalent back
a
then.
province, India being a province for the longest
Uh-huh.
time of India, and bringing back all of the culture into people and kind of uniting it that way. Why do you think you get such good curry in England?
I
Like, come
know,
on, it's not that okay. I'm sorry, Brits, but it ain't because you know how to make curry. Let's just get that straight, okay?
right?
You might now, but
Yeah,
you learned it from the experts. Let's just put it that way.
exactly. You really
Okay,
did.
all slamming aside, but
Oh,
it's that.
yeah.
But if there was such a strong current, like I was picking up on that, I was getting pissed off at first, and I was like, "Calm down, Claire. He's really talking about what it was like in
It
1979. That's
it
exactly
was
how it was."
it was
So
like that. It
yeah,
really was.
but
And
the way Nita actually puts up with it with the shrug, like, "You're just a stupid
yeah,
twit."
she
Yeah,
does.
just
Yeah.
like she just looks at you like, "Okay, twit, whatever you say."
Well,
You know?
it's the same way when Vicky comes back there at first and says, Nita's in the stock room of the shoe department taking her lunch, and Vicky comes back and says, "There's a customer, and I'm on my break." And she says, "Yeah, and mine's supposed to start in 5 minutes, so if I work with him, that's gonna take time off of my break."
Yeah.
But
So
you don't care
Nita
about
is
Nita's
Nita
break.
yeah, she's supposed to leave her break early so the other one
Yeah,
doesn't start late. Even though
yeah,
circumstances are not Nita's fault and this is your job, and if somebody walks
exactly.
in and you're working, then yeah, you delay your break. Like, what, so what? You still
Yeah.
get the same amount of time. Talk about entitled Karen. Like,
Oh, she
I think in
so was.
1979 there was a poster that said "Don't be a Karen," and that girl was on it.
Oh, yeah. She was like the
Okay.
poster child of the
Ex
Karens.
Yeah, yeah,
But
definitely.
that's when we got introduced to Keith Holligan because he
Mhm.
was the customer, and Nita sees him and recognizes him and
As the
says,
murderer,
as the
as a
murderer, he had
from,
strangled his wife.
right, from articles and everything that were in the
Yeah.
paper. It was very popular in the area. He's local, so it was big news. Um,
Uh-huh.
and he is creepy. I'm sorry.
Oh, he is.
He looks the part of a serial killer. That was also played very well.
Oh, yeah.
He just
He just looked
he yeah.
sleazy and greasy and
He did. He
ugh.
kinda looked like the kind of person that I would cross to the other side of the street if they were
Yeah.
coming at me. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Mhm.
And so she goes and helps him. He finds a pair of shoes. He doesn't have the money. She says she can put them back. And he says, "Well, if you want to, you can give me your number too."
Mhm. Yeah. I know, but they just like the way that this was all like filmed, would you agree that there's a lot to it that was
Oh, yeah.
making scenes and things like
Uh-huh.
even creepier or larger
Oh,
than
yeah.
what they were trying to say. Like, the sniffing, the over exaggerated
Uh-huh.
sniffing of the odors, and stuff like that.
Right.
You know exactly what she's
Oh,
thinking.
yeah. You know
Um,
she is. Yeah,
mhm.
exactly. And then we see
Yes,
something
Craven, if
out of
that was you
character.
playing, I'm sorry, Craven, but if that was you playing him, then yes, you're creepy. You look like a serial killer, a creepy serial killer. I
Right?
can't believe, yeah. If you're gonna own it, then you're gonna own it. Like,
Yeah.
okay.
But, yeah,
Well,
we see the first out of character of
mhm,
Nita because we actually see her reach over and grab his neck and start
mhm.
strangling him.
Oh, that because that's her thoughts, and that was, like, the best
That's
part.
her
It was like
thought.
because
It
what
was.
like, I know I was thinking of slapping people a few times
Yeah.
during this
Oh,
episode.
yeah.
And I was just like, "Damn, if that was me, it would be pap." It would be,
Oh,
yeah, no,
yeah.
I would have not closed up my food and let somebody start their break
No.
early to
Uh-uh.
inconvenience myself. Like, it would be like, "Excuse me, was that a reference to you thinking I'm a second-class citizen, but I have the same
Right?
rights as you? Actually, I make like $2 more than you do because I can actually scream about it and you can't, because of equal opportunity and shit like that. Well, would that be you, boo? Because, like, get out of my
Right?
face." Like,
Exactly.
really. Mousy, thank
Exactly.
you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Mousy.
Yes. All
Um,
right.
so
They're talking. Can we get this out of the way before we go any further?
yeah.
Talking about the setup for even the shoe store, Nita's apartment, because like we start the whole thing in her house, like she wakes up and
Uh-huh.
she gets ready and everything. Was everything? I agree with them. They're talking in the chat about everything being undersized to make everyone look gigantic. What actually in England things are smaller like that
Things are
in the
smaller.
houses, like a little bit. And Liam's right though; it's not that much. They did, I think, purposely make the characters seem looming as they're
Right.
walking through rooms and stuff like that. Especially when we got to Keith's apartment, which I don't want to jump, but go ahead. I just wanted to acknowledge because we
Oh,
won't be
yeah.
going back. It's so early in the
Right.
conversation, in case we miss it later. I
Yeah.
just want to
No, that
acknowledge.
was
I
a
s-
good
I
catch.
hear what you guys are saying there, and I did make note of that, and I'm trying to figure out what he was actually trying to make us look at there.
I
Um,
know.
no, her
I'm not
name was
sure either.
not. No, her. Oh,
No.
oh, you mean the room? You mean the coworker? No, I can't
No.
even remember her name. She pissed
Her
me
name
off
was
so much.
Vicky. Vicky.
Vicky. Oh, Tricky
Vicky.
Vicky. Okay,
Yeah.
Sticky Vicky. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Sticky
I
Vicky.
had
Okay.
I had to, you know me, I have to write all the names down. So
Listen, I call her Sticky because let me just tell you this. Vicky was a drooler. There wasn't a
oh,
man that walked
yeah.
in there that she didn't check out.
No.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, she was jumping
Including
all
the
over the
serial
mess.
killer, and she just decided he smelled too bad.
Yeah,
So she
she did. She
I
didn't
said,
wanna take care of
I'm
him.
telling I'm serious. She was
Yeah.
so obvious. Yes, yes.
So we see
Yep.
Nita go on with the rest of her day. She's closing up. She hears someone talking outside on like a bullhorn. She
Mhm.
steps outside of the door, and that is where we meet um, Michael Smart, who is a politician.
Is he? Is he really?
Well, he wants to be a politician.
No, but I mean, like, is he not so much more? Come on, people in the chat, you know what I'm referring to here. Did anybody not notice that the man didn't have pupils? That his
He
eyes were
didn't.
just big black circles? Like he was like,
Exactly.
who the hell is Michael Smart? And like, is he the Antichrist? Like, really, seriously?
Right?
Like,
I have
come
I have
on.
some thoughts on him later, Claire, that we'll get to much later on some
Is he
things.
Liam a typical Tory? Okay, because man, this man was like,
Oh,
whoa. Mm.
yeah.
In the shoe store, well, first of all, Nita sees him out there, but she's not really
Uh-huh.
pleased about it. And
No,
I
because he
wanted to
kinda
ask,
zeroes in on her and says,
mhm,
"We need to make a change," and
yes.
zeroes
And
in right on her face.
can anyone clarify to me the spray painted initials on Nita's door that appeared? Is that some type
It
of
stands for National Front.
okay, so that was it. They're the ones that wanted immigration in place
It's
and
a
wanted them
yeah,
all out.
it's a
Okay, okay.
far
I get it now.
right-wing
I knew it was
fascist
some kind
group.
of I knew it was racial. I knew it was something racially
Uh-huh.
against her. I knew it stood for something and I was trying to like put it together, but you're right.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah,
group that
Liam
Michael
got it,
Smart,
National Front.
yeah. That's the group Michael Smart said he wasn't in, but
Right.
because it wouldn't get voted in, but he actually believes everything and wants it in, and he's just going to run against it to get in, and then he's going to do all of it.
Uh-huh.
And he actually says that out
He
to
does.
the lovely Vicky, because she's got like such morals and everything
Right?
that of course she wouldn't like tell on him or anything. She's like a supporter now because
Oh
she
my gosh.
wants
Oh,
she
yeah,
wants
she's got
everybody
all of
of
the
she wants
pamphlets and
everyone
everything.
of non-English nationality out. She says that the reason
Right.
her life is tough is that they have jobs.
Yeah,
even though they have the same job that she is. What is she qualified to do, Vicky, besides what she's doing? And she has the job doing what she's doing.
exactly.
So how does Nida being in the shoe
How
store?
is that how is that compromising her?
Yeah, if anything, it gives her somebody to push around and feel better about herself because
Right?
all she does is insult her as being a lesser than person, you know?
Exactly.
Mousy, I'm sure that wasn't her name
No,
because
it
I'm
was
sure
not.
she because she didn't look like the kind of girl that would turn any of it down. So I don't think there was a
No,
great need there. I hate to be
no.
so crass, but she was quite obvious.
She
Like,
was yeah,
yeah.
yeah, especially in the pub. She was all
Mm,
over people, and
yeah.
even in the
She,
stores, the guys would
mhm.
come in, she was, like, jumping all over them.
Everyone, yeah, and all ages, and it wasn't like she was just going after money or whatever. There was a young guy there, like everybody,
Yeah.
anybody that walked in that was wearing pants.
Oh, yeah, it
It's like,
didn't matter.
yep,
Did not matter at all.
nope, it ain't.
Uh-uh.
Um, mm. I know Mousy, but I'm smarter than the average bear. I know Mrs. Cassandra is on a mission to make me say it. And like
Right?
you should ask people who challenge me on a regular basis. Like I always step up. I always bring it. And you will fail because don't don't you're not innocent, Mrs. Cassandra. Ain't nobody in the chat gonna back you up on that one.
Exactly.
Unless they're lying. Unless they're lying. I call them out right now if they actually think you're innocent.
Right?
Call them out lying. You put it right in the chat. You were going to try to get me to say it. Like so.
Yep.
Anyway, but I'm not going to do it. But nice try.
No.
Anyway, mm,
So, where
back
were
on
we,
track.
Claire?
Yes,
Where were
we're going to
we?
get back on track. Yeah, damn it, Cass. Just stop it. Like if you don't stop it, I'm going to make you come up here and talk about this. You better
Right?
stop right now. That's right. That's the new punishment for all the mods who take me off track. You're gonna come up here and do the damn show. How do you like that?
Right.
If you okay, gonna stop it right now.
I
Okay.
know.
Anyway, Kim. All right.
Cass,
Let's
Cass,
go.
talk to Hillary.
Yeah.
Get to know Hillary better.
Anyway, it's funny. Actually, don't think I'm upset. I'm really not upset. I'm actually
No.
laughing about this. I'm not upset at all. So I don't want to give that impression because I'm not. But I do want to talk about the episode. So
Yeah.
we are at the shoe store still because a lot of
We're
the
at the
scene,
shoe store.
yeah, is laid out
Yeah.
there.
Well, and, you know, the manager actually, just like the next day, the manager actually comes up to Nita and tells her that there have been some complaints. We know it's Vicky that's
Because
complaining
she's the
about
only other one who works there.
right, about her food. That it
The
might
smells.
might have a little smell to it.
Because nobody would like they don't want to smell the curry on
And
the
it might get
leather.
in the shoe
Yeah.
leather. Yeah.
And you know what?
Might
It
get
would
into
be
the shoe
damn
leather.
better than that hooker perfume that Vicky was probably wearing,
Right?
I'll tell you that.
Oh.
But
Oh, I can
still,
imagine.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
probably like white gardenia or something.
But I have to give them credit for writing that all in. They actually wrote the racial climate of the
They
area
did. They
in
really did.
because that is what was going on at the time. Yeah,
It
so
was. Yeah. So she
who in
agrees.
the store do you think had the talisman? Oh, we're getting there, Juju.
We're
We're
getting
gonna be
there.
right there in a minute.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so that's what brings her to the basement, right? That's how she gets into the basement
Yes.
where it all starts, where all the
That's
fun
where
starts.
everything starts. Yes.
First of
And she's
all,
sitting there
great
eating her
basement.
yes.
At a fantastic roll top desk, which I was
Oh,
admiring
it was
greatly.
beautiful. I
Okay.
know. I
Yeah.
wanted that. I
Yeah.
did.
Yeah. And she's sitting there. She's looking at these newspaper clippings of
Yeah,
all
they're
these
very
terrible things that
old
happen to
yellow
people.
clippings. Yeah.
Mhm. Of deaths that just
Right.
suddenly happened out of nowhere, and we're all
Yeah, there was
kind of
one
related.
about,
Hmm.
a publican that was, died in a piece.
Mhm.
A workman was crushed by a collapsing wall, and then
Mhm.
there was a woman that had disappeared.
Yep.
But the May Day celebration was a great success. So that was
True.
the fourth clipping.
And that
And
kind of leads us to
it kind of foreshadows things
it
for us.
does. Also, like then she goes to open up that little drawer.
Yes.
There's, you know how those
uh,
roll top desks, the best thing about roll
They've got
top
all
desks
those
are all
little
the little crooks
corners.
and crannies and the
Yes,
little drawers.
they're
I just love
wonderful.
that. So she goes and she just sees one. There's only one that's
One.
like got a little tab on it to open. Everything else
Uh-huh.
is just like a slot. She pulls it open, but she cuts her
Cuts her
finger.
finger.
And then she looks at the blood, gets rid of the blood, then goes into the drawer. In
Uh-huh.
right? The only thing in
Yeah.
there is a
Was
talisman
yeah. Looks
with
like a
guess
little
what's on it? The white bear symbol.
white bear. The
I think
white
I'd
bear.
run right there. If you know what,
Oh, yeah.
because if
I've
I
been like,
saw a
"Nope, nope.
talisman with white
I'm
bear on
out.
it,
I'm
I would
out.
put it back in the drawer. I would shut the drawer. I would
I'm
go.
out."
But then again,
Yeah.
it's 1979, so white bear hasn't been written
White
yet.
bear
And
hadn't come
yeah,
around yet.
yeah, it hasn't been. So I
No.
can understand. But anyway, we knew we were in trouble right then. And
Oh,
we
yeah.
see blood on the
And we see
talisman from
blood.
her finger. Everybody knows, don't put blood on the talisman. That's how
No.
you activate the evil. I've seen enough shows to know. Keep your
Exactly.
blood away from all of these kind of wicked
Right?
things. Okay. Keep your blood
Yeah.
far away from them. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't let your blood touch it. But, hmm,
No. So she
hmm,
puts it into her bag. It's like a satchel. And at the end of the day, she goes home for the evening.
hmm. Yeah.
But that talisman is still kind of on her mind.
Yep.
And she goes over to her satchel, pulls it out, looking at it, and all of a sudden we hear a voice talking to her through the talisman.
Mhm.
And she throws the thing down, and it's like, "Hey, pick me
It
up,
starts
hello,
talking to
hello."
her. I know. I have to say that was quite amusing to me because I'm
It
like,
really was.
this is supposed to be so scary. Why am I
I
grinning?
know, but I
I'm like,
needed
nice
that.
one. I'm like, nice
Uh-huh.
one, Charlie. Like that's a little different. I think I'll continue to watch. That's kind of what kept it from being so cliche to me. You know, is these
Yeah.
little things like the humor, like not liking Vicky so much at the shoe store, making the owner of the shoe store such a weaselly man. Like when he went to talk to her, he couldn't really even, you know, like he was hemming and hawing. Like he knew he
Oh,
was being a
yeah.
racist cuck and he just
Oh,
like
he
freaking
did.
did it anyway. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because he didn't want to go back and like not get his free feels, from the other one. So
exactly.
I'm telling you straight out
Yeah.
exactly what I thought while I was watching it. As horrible
Yeah,
as it is, it's exactly
it's
what I
one of
thought.
those things
Yeah.
where you kinda have in your mind where she's like,
Mm-hmm.
"If you'll talk to her about this, I'll let you have a free fill."
Yeah. I
And I
do.
just kinda felt like that was her.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Mm.
So, we hear the gremlin or I'm reading
The
gremlin on Miss
demon.
Cass on Miss
It's a
Cassandra's
demon. Yeah.
on her chat that she just put in, and that's why
Yeah.
gremlin came out
No,
in my
I'll
mouth.
tell you, you know how
The
you could keep it
demon.
straight? You know how you could keep it straight? Ain't no gremlin alive got a beautiful smile like that demon. Talk
Oh
about some
my
pearly
gosh,
whites and knock your socks off.
right?
That was a demon smile right there. Like that ain't no gremlin. Like they got
I
like
know.
ugly, bad breath teeth and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That
that
was one of
demon
the
was.
first things that Hillary said was, "Look at his teeth."
I know they were whiter than white and
They were.
smiled bright up that whole room. Well, anyway,
Exactly.
he
And he
go on.
tells her, "You've gotta give permission for me to come through. Just say yes, say yes. You're gonna say yes anyway.
Oh,
Just go
she
ahead and
doesn't
do
want
it."
to though, does she? She
He
doesn't
didn't
want to.
wanna
No.
do it.
She's
No.
like, "No, if I talk to you, you're real." And like, I don't want any of this to be going on. Like, this can't be real. Like,
Uh-huh.
I'm not doing it. But she did pick the tile up and
She
he
did.
kept talking to her, trying to convince her.
Uh-huh.
Then finally she screamed
She
yes.
she
Mhm.
said yes, and he comes
And lo and
out, and he's a true demon.
no, he's not. He is a true
No,
demon
he
at
came
first, yes,
yeah,
and he
at first
scares the
he
shit
did.
out of her,
He
and she's like,
scares
"Oh
her.
my god, I knew this was a
Yeah.
bad idea." Like, holy crap,
Uh-huh.
all we do is see a shadow of the horns, and like you could just picture, like, because of her horrified look on her face, like
Right.
exactly what we might be seeing, but we don't really get to see it.
No.
Um, and he's very kind. He apologizes. Oh, I
He
guess like
does.
this world might not be ready for my real
Yeah.
form.
He's like,
And
maybe I'll take a form that's more pleasant for you.
he does it in the
And
best way too.
he turns into Boney M, which
He
was
does, because he went into her head. It said,
yes,
"This apparently is something you really find attractive," because
and
she was
she was
previously
watching
panting
one of
over this
Boney
guy on the
M's
TV. Yeah.
videos. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, because he was
Yeah.
doing the video thing and shaking it, and when he looked at you through the TV, it did look like he was
It
looking
was
right
like
at
he
you
looked right into
when
your soul.
when he was doing his little sex part routine there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but,
But yeah.
yes. So she's like, and I'm talking like straight out white disco suit, bell bottom pants, and synthetic
Oh,
like
yeah.
polyester, fake silk shirt unbuttoned just so, talking about the chains. Let's put on the little fluffy,
Oh,
fluffy,
yeah.
feathery looking thing, and let's talk about those heels. Like, I'm
Oh,
sorry. I'm sorry. And I remember in the 80s, like towards the end of the late 80s, when those heels came back, because I actually had a pair. And you know what? That was, even in the 90s. Oh, let's talk Madden and like trying to bring that back, but didn't do it the same. Those were some
right?
clunky damn disco. How anybody walked without killing themselves? More people in the ER with sprained ankles falling off those shoes. I don't
Broken
know what.
ankles
They're like, they're called platforms for a reason. It
for a
was like
reason.
walking around on a platform, seriously. But at 5 foot, I can't tell you, I didn't enjoy it. Like I
Yeah.
even later in the 80s and further on, I had platforms like that.
I
I
kinda
didn't.
liked the height that it
Mm-hmm.
gave me, but I didn't wanna move.
No.
I didn't feel comfortable walking. No.
Well, if you fell off, you knew if you
Oh,
fell off those
yeah.
shoes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I
Mm-hmm.
did a few times.
Mm. But anyway, he was gorgeous and friendly
He was
and
very,
just
very friendly.
for a demon, he was all right. I mean, he was actually like, listen, we're kind of
Mhm.
in this together now. You activated the talisman, and the world
Right?
is going to end. The world is going to end because you activated that
Yeah,
talisman. And this is what
because
we have to do to
we
stop
have
it.
to have we have to have 3 sacrifices. Otherwise, the world will end on May Day,
Exactly.
May
On
1st.
May Day, just like the articles. And since she already read those articles, she kind of like glanced
Yeah.
over them and she knew. She's like, oh shit, this is all starting to fall into place. Like it might be true. But she's like, no, I
Uh-huh.
can't do that.
I
No.
can't, nope, not
But
me. You
be
got the
honest,
wrong
Kim,
girl.
and everybody in the chat, be a little honest here. When he said you're going to kill three, who were the three you first thought of? I mean, immediately three people were popped in my head that I wanted gone.
Vicky, the
Uh,
store manager, the politician.
oh, no, I went Vicky, Keith, and the politician. Like I left the store manager alone because
Uh,
he was just he was just dumb, you know.
yeah,
Vicky was actually manipulative and entitled and racist and controlling, So Vicky and Keith, because he's a killer, and
right.
Michael Smart because he was just evil, a
Oh, he
politician
was
who
just
just like
evil.
he
Yeah,
was even evil to other politicians, like,
he
even
was.
in the game. He's like he was turning the game upside down. Like, I'm
Oh,
actually
yeah,
gonna go
yeah.
in there as the opposite party while I actually gonna be working for that party. Like, it was bizarre,
Uh-huh.
bizarre. But
Yeah,
that's what I thought. I mean, I immediately, but
yeah. So,
she don't wanna
he
do any of it,
he
does she? She's a nice
no,
girl. She don't
she
wanna
is
do
a
this.
nice girl, but he kinda gives her a look of what would happen if she doesn't do it, and then
Right.
we see from the entire history of you, remember the sea eyes?
Yes.
We see that on her,
Mhm.
or
Those
something similar.
Yes. Very. It kind of goes like this white filmy, and that's when you're actually seeing things that aren't existing right
Uh-huh,
now. And that's like a clue through the rest of like whenever she does that. Because he's showing her stuff or telling her stuff. Because
right.
as a demon, he's able to look into the future of everybody's life. He knows everything before, everything after. He knows it all, and
Uh-huh.
he's able to move around with that. And apparently, he's not a very powerful demon. He's a
No,
rookie, and he's in his
he
probationary period, and
right,
he
he's
really has
actually
to get her
in
to do this.
yeah, he's actually in his initiation period.
Yeah, yeah. He needs her to do these because he's gonna
Yeah,
get judged. Yeah, he's gonna
yeah,
get judged harshly.
and he might get thrown out.
And she's a nice person, and she's like, "Listen, like, so we get rid of some evil people, like, that do horrible things, and stuff, and
Uh-huh.
whatever, whatever." And she just doesn't want to do it, and she
No,
runs
she's
away
like, "I
from him,
can't
right?
do it, I can't do it." Yeah.
She
Yeah, she
runs
runs
away,
away from him. She runs
yeah, and
out of her flat, out into
down
the night,
into the
down the
park,
street.
under
Yes.
the tunnel, and he's talking to her, trying to convince her, and this poor man comes out from underneath the tunnel. Well, I wouldn't say this poor man, but victim number
But
one.
a man, victim number 1.
Amen. Yeah, victim
And
number one,
yes,
who's who only gets killed because the demon really actively tells her
the demon really pushes.
what he's really like behind the
Yeah,
scenes. He looks like an everyday gentleman, like,
he does.
middle aged, got a family at
Walking a cute
home,
little dog.
walk, yeah, like taking care of stuff, probably has a good job, very unassuming. And then the demon starts to say what he does in the middle of the night to his 8-year-old daughter. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And how the 8-year-old daughter grows up and can't deal with it and ends up unliving or
Yeah,
doing something about it so she don't have to deal with it anymore.
right.
And that kind of goes, she gets mad.
She does get mad.
And he goes, well, he starts talking to her about the brick in her hand, and she goes, what brick? And he goes, the one in your hand,
The
because he
one in
put
your
it there.
hand,
Because
he
David, like,
put it
here,
there.
here you go. Is this easy? And
Yeah,
she does end up trying to throw the brick away, and hits
and
him,
it yeah, hits him
hits him
on
in
the
the
side
head,
of the head, and
and
he
he
falls into the
into
river.
water, and he's gone. Yeah.
Yeah,
Victim number one, and then we see the talisman lose one of the prongs, because the
right,
talisman went from the white bear symbol, which is like the U, right, with the line
uh-huh,
on it, and if you turn it
right.
the other way, it's white bear, and
It's
it went
white
into
bear.
the pitchfork. Okay, it went into the
It
three.
did.
It went
It
into the
went into
tri
like a trident.
into a trident, and we see one of those
Is gone.
when this man dies. Because,
It's
like, did she
instantly
kill him,
gone.
or was it an accident? I mean, if this was a trial, it would be manslaughter,
I
don't you
mean,
think? I
it
don't
would
know.
be
But anyway,
yeah,
mm,
it could be manslaughter.
yeah, I was thinking it, but
Yeah,
anyway, it did qualify as a kill as far as demons are concerned. In
right.
one of the arms of the trident disappears.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, you know,
Eh,
Claire, something
hmm?
that my daughter brought up to me was that dog never recognized the demon.
No.
And dogs can sense things that we can't. The
Or so
dog
we've been, or
also
yeah.
wasn't extremely upset when his owner went plunging into the water.
Well, if you were a dog and you know what he was doing in the middle of the night to an innocent child, I mean, would you be upset if he ended up face first
No,
in the river with a brick dent in his head? I don't think I would.
no,
Yeah. So,
no.
like, I mean, everybody knows animals have good sense. Come
Yeah,
on.
dog probably
Yeah.
trotted happily, little tail butt wagging
It just
back
went
to his
home.
home.
Yes,
Yeah,
it just went home. And so then we see a little side shot that, which doesn't really make a lot of sense. Like, there's an officer, a female officer, who tries to
uh-huh,
tell her superior that this man is reported missing. The wife did, because the
right.
dog, and he says, well, let's just wait till the morning. And like sometimes you do with missing persons, there's nothing really big going on about it. It's not a, uh you don't talk about an argument, I mean, you don't talk about them just vanishing or going out of their routine or anything. But then she tells him, oh, but the dog came home without him, and then he's like, no, mm.
Yeah,
Well, he still didn't
yeah.
seem very concerned. And
He
then
didn't no,
I found myself in a discussion about that, like, here in America. That's how it is sometimes,
it
especially
is,
if it's a
unfortunately.
teenager, if it is a married couple, if it is
Right.
like anything to do with a couple. Well, he just didn't come home last night. The first thing they think is, well, he's out, he or she is out doing something they don't want you to know about, and they'll
Yeah,
be back in the morning, and
or you
whatever.
had a fight
Mhm,
and he
mhm.
needs a cooling off period.
Yeah, unless there was anything like, hey, she called me told me she'd be home in 5 minutes, and I never heard from her again. Then now that's suspicious.
Right.
But like if there's nothing like that, but they should have been worried if he always goes out and walks the dog and then just didn't come back. I mean,
And
that was
exactly.
a little weird
That
that
was
they
out of his
didn't.
routine.
Yeah. So he's missing.
Yep.
She's not very happy about this. She gets very upset that this guy is dead. She's like on the couch going, I killed somebody. I killed somebody. Oh my God. She's like
Oh, yeah.
vomiting. She's not
Yeah,
feeling very good. She's
yeah.
vomiting. And that's another funny scene is that he's like, he's trying to talk to her when she's in the bathroom. Well, no, that was the second one. Never mind. I'm jumping ahead. Um,
No, he was talking to her in the bathroom on this one also.
On the first one? Okay, so
Yeah.
so she's vomiting in the toilet and everything, and, like, then she gets up and she walks out and she's gonna go, like, lay down, and he's like, "Well, wait a minute, you forgot to flush."
That's right.
And then he's, like, all grossed out because it smells, and I'm like, "What kind of
Yeah.
a demon is
What kind
grossed
of
out by
demon
the
are
smell of
you?
vomit?" Yeah, like, just
Eh,
flush the toilet, like,
right?
really. Yeah, but it was I have to say the character who played the demon was, the actor was quite charming, and he played it really well.
He
He
really
he made
was.
you he made you root for him. I'm rooting for the
Yeah,
demon here, which was really weird.
I know.
But at the same time, I'm watching Nita try to hold her own against evil. Like it's
She
tempting. It's
yeah, she
tempting to
does.
get power and to be able to do something about the wrongs of the world, right? She's being racially oppressed. She's being harassed at work. Like she's
Right.
being treated like a second class citizen. They're writing on her door. She's watching this politician like gonna mess everything up for everybody, and people think he's wonderful. And she's like, can't you see it? Can't you people see what's wrong here?
Yeah.
And so the temptation, like to have a demon there telling you, well, you can make a difference. Here, this is all we
You can
gotta
change the
do.
world.
You can do it. You can and then to know that she did do it for like that guy didn't deserve. She's trying to stop something terrible happen to an 8-year-old that's gonna have a horrible life because of it,
Right.
but she knows it's wrong. And so, she's having a real hard time dealing with that.
It
Well,
is
at
a
least
hard thing
well,
for
at,
her to deal with.
at least right now it is, huh? But
Right.
because Nita Huck
But
is
things
human.
kinda change. Nita Huck
Yeah.
is human.
Nita
She's
Huck is
she
human. Yes. Mhm. And so she gets through that. And apparently you have to kill this person before midnight every day. And we've got 3 days to do it. So let's move on to the second one. Okay. He finally, after she's going back and forth about not loving, not wanting to do this and everything, he kind of just tells her, like, we really don't have a choice. We either do this or everyone dies. Do you want 3 people to die or do you want every
or do
innocent
you want the
person
whole
to
world to
die?
die?
The whole world. And there are a lot of
Yes,
innocent people in the world, and they're going to die because you didn't do this. And so she goes, okay. And they agree to kill the murderer. Okay. They're going to go for
right.
Keith. Okay. And that leads us to know that she really does feel a little bit of empowerment because first they go over, like, well, they agree that they're going to kill someone, right? They agree it's going to be Keith.
Exactly.
Well, now she has to decide how she's going to do it. So she needs a murder weapon. She needs to know what she do. So she pulls out
Yeah,
this really big knife, right? And
yeah,
he's
and
like,
he's
no,
like,
boo,
"That's
that ain't
not you,
you.
that is not
That
you."
ain't you, boo. No, put the knife away. That ain't you. And then she goes in the other drawer and she pulls out a hammer. And he goes, yeah,
Yeah,
that's more you.
yeah,
Like,
that's more like you.
I could see you bludgeoning him like that, because remember the
Uh-huh.
first one was a brick and it was just like, so it's a little personal, but it's not. It's actually really physical. And
Oh, it
mm,
was.
mm,
Oh,
to use a hammer, oh boy.
oh, that
Right. Mm.
yeah.
So
Mm-mm,
she
mm-mm.
goes, well, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. He goes, well, you need a drink. She goes, I don't drink. He goes, do you wanna? Do you
You're
wanna
gonna drink
drink?
now.
You wanna drink? And so she goes to a bar and she sees Keith when she's there.
Yeah,
She orders triple scotch, which is pretty funny.
it was
And then
funny.
she's never drank before, and the bartender's like, "Do you want ice?" And she goes, "Well," he goes, "Do people usually
Do
take ice?" He
do
goes,
they
"Yeah."
do they
She
usually
goes, "Then
drink it with
okay."
ice?
Yeah. And she goes, "One of the best scenes for me, the way that they played together, her and the demon, which was so good because they're in this impossible situation. I don't think
Uh-huh.
either one of them wanted to be there, but here they are. They're just working off each other. And she's like, orders a second one. She goes, make that two. And he goes, well, that
Right?
was nice of you, but I can't drink it. She goes, it wasn't for you.
It wasn't for you. It
It
was
wasn't.
for me.
It was for me. She's gonna do two
Yeah.
triple scotches before these. Well, she sees Keith. Keith goes out, like leaves, okay, to go take a wee on the side of the building, just like normal people do, I guess. I don't know. It's pretty
I
gross.
guess, I don't know.
And
Not
this is the
something I would
so
do.
she runs out after him and then comes around the corner and sees that he's peeing. And no, he doesn't stop and put it away or anything. He just looks
No.
at her and just shaking it, keeping doing it. And she's just
Yeah.
like, so
He's trying
he's
to,
like,
like, avoid him.
yeah. And this idiot gets excited about it. He goes, "Oh, you're following me? Yeah, you're looking for me?"
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, "Oh my God, really?" So she goes with it. She goes, "Yeah, because here's her opportunity, right?"
This
Like,
is her opportunity. So she actually kind of we see a different side of her where she kinda tries turning on the charm and almost trying to seduce him
well, she's very
in her
clever.
little
She's smart. You get to see
she
how
is
smart
very
she
smart.
actually is because she reads a room really quick and really fast. So as soon
She
as he
does.
turned and looked at her like that, she was like, she turned a little like,
It's
uh-huh.
like, "Oh, I got
Yeah, I
him.
was looking, uh-huh, I
I
got
got
it.
him.
Like, that's it. He thinks I want him. God.
He already
Like,
wanted me anyway."
right, because he wanted her phone number and stuff. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, so he invites her back to the house, his house,
Yeah.
which is like crazy. You get in there, it's a pigsty. It's the most
Oh, it was
disgusting thing.
horrible.
Like, I took one look
Oh,
at that couch and I was like, people sit on that?
I could
Like,
smell it through the screen.
it was so gross. They
It
did a
was so
great job.
bad.
They did a great job at making my skin crawl at the fact
Their
that
set
people actually lived there. Oh,
you know,
like it.
their
Oh,
their set directors were just amazing on this with all
hmm
of that.
yeah. I'm telling you, it was so just so disgusting. And
It
he
was.
gets in there and he goes in there and he knocks a few things off the couch so she could sit. But of course, she's still standing up. She ain't sitting down.
Yeah.
And he starts taking off all his clothes.
Yeah.
Like, damn. Like, I mean, I
I
know that
know.
there's such a thing about reading the room and knowing something's gonna happen, but there's another thing
Right?
like jump the gun. Like, dude, like, wow. Like,
Exactly.
really? Okay. So and he's gross. Like the t-shirt is dirty. Like everything about him is just disgusting. The guy played
Oh,
it really well. He was greasy, creepy,
he
slime bally looking
yeah.
person. It was like,
Yeah.
oh.
I
So
felt dirty just looking at him.
no, so she's like, she got her hammer with her, and she hasn't done it yet. But so he
Hasn't done
decides.
it.
So she's looking at him like, I can't believe I'm going to do this. You can see it on her face.
Uh-huh.
She's thinking, I can't believe I'm going to do this
Yeah.
about killing him. And
And
she
then
thinks, I can't believe I'm going to do this about have sex with him. And he takes a
right?
look down and then he goes, okay, I'll go take a shower. And I'm like,
Yeah. He's like,
what?
"Oh, I'll go wash
Yeah.
up down there."
Yeah. I don't think he realized how close he had to a hammer in his skull right that second. So
Right?
he goes to take a shower and he tells her like they're gonna go upstairs, okay? And
Yeah.
they're gonna do it upstairs in the bedroom. And she's in there, she pulls out the hammer, she's waiting, she's gonna get him when he comes walking in, but she doesn't get it in time before he turns around. And
Yeah.
this
He
is
sees
so
it.
great. This scene, so great, right, Kim?
It
I
was.
have to say it.
It
I have to say it.
it
I'm gonna let
really
you say after, but he looks at her
yeah.
and he goes, "You're gonna hit me with that?"
You're gonna hit me.
And she nods. And he walks to the bed, sits down, and hangs his head like, "Yup,
Yeah.
go for it.
This is it.
I knew this was my ending. I knew this would happen someday." And I was like,
Uh-huh.
"Oh shit." So here it is. You're a greasy, scuzzy scumball and making all these passes at women and acting like a creep all the time, but actually you know you did wrong and you know you don't deserve to live and you know somebody's gonna take you out.
Right?
It just showed me that how weak a person has to be. Like that
Yeah.
was so weak because I don't even think he wanted to live. He's just not strong enough
I
not
don't
to.
think he did either.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think he did. I
Yeah.
think he
Cause
realized at that point
yeah. That was
everything
like wow.
yeah,
Yeah.
everything his life had been up until that point.
Well, let's just say she goes for it.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
did she
What
ever?
did you think about that, Kim? Like that was
Oh, yeah.
Nita Huck is changing a little bit, huh?
Nita Huck is changing.
Now, at
Nita
first I
Huck is
didn't think
coming into her
yeah.
own.
At first I didn't think she was going to do it, but then he starts talking about the murder.
Right.
and how excited he got.
Yeah, that was
And
I
that
think
did
that
it
was
for
kind of
Nida.
her
She was
turning
like,
point.
that's what did it for Nida. She just like got this different look on her. That was it.
Oh,
When he's
yeah,
talking
you could
about how
see it come
excited
over
the
her.
murder made him. Yeah.
Yeah, you could see it come over her. But then he's still like, "But I still loved her. I still loved her. Um,
Mm-hmm. But I killed her. Yeah.
but I killed her." Yeah,
Mm.
and she
And
just went to whacking.
and we're not talking for those of you. Let's say, let's just put it out there. We're not talking one whack. We're not talking two whacks and
No.
three whack. We're talking. Let's just say she really made sure the job was done.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
she did.
and it was gross. And then
It was. It
she's
was
got to take the
brutal.
hammer out of there, and she's got to run away. And she goes down the
Uh-huh.
stairs. Of course, the demons they're saying, get your weapon. Like, let's go. And she goes downstairs. Somebody's there.
Yeah,
He lives with his another person, which shocked the hell out of me that
it was
anybody
his
else lived in that
brother.
house. Yeah, but even
It
his brother, like, I mean, usually one person out of a pair isn't going to be that disgusting. You know what I
No.
mean? Like, so the brother is there and he's in the kitchen and he comes to walk out and he sees her and he just starts flipping out because he knows like she's not supposed to be in the house. And
Yeah.
he's not a strong person either.
No.
He's and
He's very, very small,
mhm.
very thin,
and
slender man,
mhm.
and he
and
sees her covered in blood
And
splattering.
the demon's like, "You gotta kill him. You can't leave a
"You've got
witness,
to."
like, because
Yeah.
we have to do a third one and you can't get arrested." And she's like,
Uh-huh.
"Phew." And he goes, "Well, look at it this way. It'll be a double. You will be
Yeah,
done
and
because you'll
you're
have two
done.
and we'll be done." And
Exactly.
so she ends up killing him, with a knife because they get into a
Killed him with a
fight.
knife because he grabbed a
Yes.
knife.
But here it is. She's very smart. Like he was there dying slowly with the knife in him. And
Uh-huh,
she
and she
she
pulls it
went and
out.
pulled it out to put him out of his misery so he
Yeah,
would go
so that he would
faster.
sleep
Cause
faster.
yeah, which was
His
yeah.
the stab wound was around the
In the
aorta.
sternum. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, well, so here's the funny part. They're looking at the rune and only one arm of it disappears.
Yeah.
And Demon's like, "Wait a minute, there's
He's like,
something wrong
"Wait
here.
a
We
minute.
just killed
Whoa,
2."
hold up."
And she's like, "Wait a minute, I killed him and he was innocent and you told me that there will be over. Like, what is going on?" And
Yeah,
like she's upset because that was an innocent man. Like he didn't need to die. That wasn't a creepy person. And she's like,
right.
her head's getting messed with now.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so Demon, I mean, get this. He gets on the phone and calls
Uh-huh.
the office. Yes,
Yeah,
people, that's what I said. He got
and
on the phone and
did
called
you
the
see what
office.
did you see what number he called?
666. Yeah.
666.
With a
Yeah,
rotary dial. So we
with the
saw
rotary
six,
dial. 6,
six,
6.
6. Yes, it was,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I didn't miss that. It was great. I like I said, the scenery, the costumes, the cinematography, everything was point.
It's like all those
1979,
little
beautiful.
things,
Yeah.
all those little
hmm
details.
Yeah. It was something else. Yeah.
Yeah,
But mm, I
and
don't
they were
even
he was actually told that Keith did not count because Keith had murdered someone. So he
exactly.
was kind of on the do not kill list.
He was on it because they like him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of us now. He's
Yeah.
he's batting on our team now.
Mhm. That doesn't count as a soul because he was evil.
You're right.
It's like,
And the
yeah, he
demon
murdered
kinda
somebody.
you could tell the demon kind of felt bad. He was like, "Maybe I
He
should have read
really
the
did.
handbook.
The
I should
whole
have read the
time,
handbook better. I should
the
have
whole
maybe asked someone questions."
exactly, because I don't think he's all on board with this to begin with. Like he's in a
No.
spot too. They're telling him he has to do these or the world comes to an end, including him. Like he gone,
Right.
you know? And I
Yeah.
don't think he was that comfortable too, because he keeps reminding her we're in this together. Like, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but
And,
this
they've
is
already
I've
told
I've looked at it from all ways. We got no choice but just doing it to get out of
right.
it. And that's it.
And
And then all
they've already told him that if he fails at this, he's
mhm,
sent to eternal oblivion.
true, true. Because his talisman gig is his gig. And if he doesn't
Oh,
have his
yeah.
gig, he's out. So there you go. Must be
Uh-huh.
hard for a demon. Life's not easy for a demon these
Well, it's
days.
not easy for a
Not in
demon.
Charlie Brooker's world anyway.
No. No.
Mm. So here we go. We're right back. She's got to do another one.
She's gotta do
Mm.
another one.
And now
So
she's pissed
oh,
because
yeah, she is.
now she's pissed because she killed an innocent person. She's got
Yeah,
blood on her hands. She's sick again, vomiting again, and
yeah,
she's curled up on the couch watching TV, getting real pissy with the demon. Demon's trying to get her moving to get this
uh-huh.
last one done. And she's like, they're fighting. He turns the TV off on her. She's like, I'm watching that. How many of y'all have had that conversation with your significant other? I heard that, like, I went, "Whoa, I've heard that before."
Oh, yeah. I think
I've
we
heard
all
that one.
have.
Yeah, I've heard that
Yeah,
one. Okay. It's like, oh, and so they were getting a little pissy with each other, but he gets her to realize that we don't have a choice. It's either we kill another person or everyone dies. Like, it's
right.
horrible. I'm sorry about the innocent person. I didn't know about the murderers. Like, they didn't tell me. Like, it's,
Yeah,
whatever. And he's like, I feel really bad. He kind of feels for her in a way. You could
he
see
does.
them that they both are very uncomfortable in the whole thing.
Right.
In Well, she agrees, and he kind of empowers her a little bit, and
Yeah.
so she gets to choose, right?
She gets to
So
choose.
so her wheels start turning.
They do, and, he's like, "Do you wanna kill your coworker? Do you wanna kill the manager?"
Yeah, he threw
And
the he threw the
oh,
coworker right out there.
through
Like,
that coworker.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
he did.
And while they're deciding on who to kill, she runs into the little girl of the first man that died,
Uh-huh, because
and
she
she's
had to
very
sell her
sad.
shoes.
Right, and she had to sell her shoes in the store, and she did wait
Uh-huh.
on her. But the demon did a good kindness to her. He told her about her life now.
Yeah,
Even though
and he
she looks
told
so
her
sad now, that's
yeah,
how I know that he really wasn't comfortable with what was going on either,
right.
because he truly understood it from Nida's point of view. He knew how she felt when she saw that child so sad that her
He
father
did,
was dead, and that maybe
but
she didn't make a difference with the death of
he
that man,
he
you know?
also told her that the sadness wasn't so much because of mourning, but it was more of a relief that everything was over.
Exactly, and told him about her having children and being a grandmother
Uh-huh,
later on, and actually having a life past the age of 28, which was her future before her father died. But
correct.
now she's got an actual future to live for. And so you could see that the demon understood Nita a little bit, that she needed to hear that. She needed to know that she was
She
okay.
did need to know
Yeah.
that.
Mm. And so,
Yeah, she needed to know that by what she did made a difference for
mhm.
this little girl going on into her life.
Yeah. I'm agreeing with the chat in some aspects here, because at this turning point, after she sees the little girl and they know that they've got to do the third one, she becomes a little more resigned to the fact that it's going to happen,
She
and
does.
something switches inside of her to decide to take control of the situation. If
Yeah,
I have to do it, it'll be my way. Which, that's very human. It's very much how it would go. You're in an untenable situation. You can't change what's going to happen. It's going this way. But what do? Like, if the car is going 110 miles an hour down a certain track, the best thing you could do is get in there and drive it.
right?
At least try to control that bastard
At
so
least
it
you
don't
have
go off
some
kilter. Yeah.
control.
And Nita actually want to do that and
We
start
see her
moving
taking
towards that.
more control over her life.
Of the situation, especially even
Uh-huh.
the killing, because let's just go ahead and tell him, Kim, who she choose, like, and she got good reason too. But
She chooses Michael Smart.
and it shocks the demon because he's
It
like, what?
does.
All these other people are
He
horrible to you, and you
he
pick
actually
him?
tried to talk her out of it.
Because Michael Smart is so evil that the higher ups love him. Like, that's
They
how we
love
know.
him.
That's why I know I saw those black eyes,
Oh,
because
yeah.
he's got total support from the demon side. They
Yeah, and
don't
he
want.
knows it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like
Yes,
he sold his soul.
exactly. That's what I think that weird look on his face was all about. Like,
Yeah,
soulless. Yes, I do. I got that feeling, even though it wasn't said. And I know I have a tendency to read things into it because I'm so enamored by this series. But I
right.
do. I try to pick up on
And you
everything
know
they're
that I
trying to
do
tell us.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I
I t
really think
I
that the evilness
yeah.
of Michael Smart was well played by the actor and
Oh,
written
it was
very well.
amazing.
the speech that he tells Vicky about what he's gonna do about the world, and just like and the way she looks like she's been hypnotized by his words
Right?
is just it was just picture cult classic. This is the
It
evil
was.
that walks our world. This is
Uh-huh.
what we have to push against. There are
Yep.
no Mrs. Cassandra, there are no spoiler awards. This is a review show. If you haven't watched it, you shouldn't watch this because we're going to
Right?
talk about the show. We have to tell you what happened to talk about it. Like,
Yes.
sorry.
Didn't
I'm
you
sorry.
ask me
Yeah.
earlier if there was a Black Mirror tonight?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Come on now.
I even gave you the
I'm
season and
I'm
the
feeling I'm
episode.
feeling harassed by my moderator here. Okay. Listen, I've done how many episodes? I've done 28 episodes, Mrs. Cassandra. If you ain't with the program yet, there's gonna be spoilers. I can't help you. I
Right?
cannot help you. Okay. And you've been there for every single one, boo.
No,
Like,
she has.
yes. Okay.
She's been right there with me.
Yes. I'm telling you, if there's a reason you don't remember, you need to send me the recipe because I want some of that. I'll make it.
Right?
I need
Yeah.
some of that. Okay. Anyway, but back to Nita in her
Back to
control.
Nita. Yes.
Okay. She starts arguing with the demon because he's like, they're not gonna let you do this. She goes, They're the ones who took the other one away without telling us. They don't
Right.
get to say.
They
Is
don't
there
get to
anything
say
in the
on this.
rules? Did he murder anyone?" And he said, "No." Well, she said, "Then he's fair game.
He's fair game.
He's fair game." And she feels good about it. And she pushes it. She goes, "This is the way it's gonna be. It's this or nothing. This is it.
Yeah.
This is what I'm doing." And she very forcefully tells him, they either get with the program or I ain't doing
Or
it.
yeah.
Basically. Yeah.
Or bring on the apocalypse
Mhm.
now because
Exactly.
you let me
And
do
it
it the way I want to, or
mhm.
I'm out.
And she goes to leave work after that night
Uh-huh.
and passes that red jacket. And the next thing you know, she wearing
She
that
is
red jacket.
walking
And
she's walking proud.
she wore that red jacket like a badass too. Right
She
over her,
did.
like, past the knees length, really dowdy outfit that she was wearing because
Right?
she dressed very conservatively. We're talking skirts well past the knee, but
Oh,
above
yeah.
the ankle
Well,
at
and
that very weird length that I don't care. I don't care
but
who you are. That doesn't look good on
no, it didn't look
anyone.
good on
On
anyone.
anyone.
But,
You could be
that was
you
their
could be a
store
10.
uniform.
It's so gross.
It
I'm
was. It
sorry.
was just
Yeah.
horrible.
But that length was popular for a while there, and I'm sorry, it doesn't look good on
It did
anybody.
not look good on
Like,
anybody.
it's either maxi or midi or mini, but none of
Right.
this, like, past the knee and halfway up the calf, like, what?
No.
Like, why? It doesn't serve a purpose. I don't know. It's just
No.
to me, it was just ugly. But anyway, I digress. Um, she looked dope in that jacket. Yes, she did. She put
It
it on, but
did.
the way it changed the way she
It
walked,
changed the
the
way
way
she
she was,
carried
like,
herself.
swinging herself and carrying herself. There was, like, Nita was empowered. If I'm gonna
Yeah.
murder somebody, I'm gonna murder somebody. Like, that's what
And
that jacket did for her.
and just
Yeah.
with her change and her attitude and her carriage, like, that jacket, like, that jacket was not wearing her. She was wearing that jacket.
I love when the demon and this Jujubee was bringing up. You remember when she jumped into the car,
Yes.
right? And the demon's
And
there,
Duff was like,
right? And
"Oh,
she got
you've
that red jacket, and he
changed.
goes, "You've changed." And it was
You've
like,
changed."
yes, nice of you to notice. Like, she's like,
And
huh.
she gets that
She
little
didn't even
smile.
answer him. She's like, huh. She's like,
Yeah, she just gets
yeah,
that little smile
yeah.
on.
Mhm. And
Yeah.
I do. They're saying that they respected the decision to go with Michael Smart. Yes, he was
Uh-huh.
portraying himself as quite evil and actually portraying himself that the world that we would live in with him actually
Would
having
be
anything to do
better.
with it would be an awful place. And actually with him gone, you could be doing a lot of good. So
Right.
I was behind her. I couldn't believe I was advocating for murder, but I
I know.
was. I was several times during this episode advocating for murder,
Yeah.
and she's going to do it, and she goes to do it,
She
but
has her trusty hammer with her.
she does, and then the first thing she does is run him off the road into a tree, and I think that's it, right? I think he's done. And in my
Yeah.
mind, I'm worried that because it was an accident, and she didn't
That it's
actually
not gonna
kill him,
count.
that it's not gonna
I
count, and I'm
know.
all upset, right?
That was
And
my
then
thought too.
yeah, and so
I
then
kept
he
saying, "At least go and hit him once. Just hit him once."
yeah, hit him one, and then he falls out of the car, and I'm like, yes,
He
she gets
does.
the crack, yes, she gets the bash his skull in.
She's
I
gonna
couldn't believe
get it.
I
She's gonna
was
get
like,
it. I know, I'm,
sir,
like, cheering her
what are you
on.
doing? What are you thinking here? You're actually cheering her on to go over there and bash his head in with the
I
hammer. I'm like, yeah,
know.
yes, I am. I'm so glad you're still alive, Michael Smart, so we can watch you get your brains bashed in.
Right?
Yeah,
Because
but
he, out of all people, deserved it.
unfortunately, that doesn't get to happen, does it?
No.
Because of the actual female officer gets
Yeah.
the head supervisor all curious about all this missing stuff and everything going on. He's hot on Nita's trail because of
He
the
is
murder of Keith. Because the
right.
last place he was seen was in the bar, but he was seen in the shoe store before that.
Right.
Okay. All right. And then
Because the very first customer that we see Nita with was also in the bar that night.
yeah.
I
Oh,
think she was
and
like a server or something.
yep. And then Liam reminds us, what about like watching how ballsy she is when she knows the police are following her when she goes to follow Michael Smart. And Michael Smart runs through the railroad crossing and Nita
Uh-huh.
floors it. She floors
Oh,
it.
yeah, she did.
And like I'm like, go, Nita, go. Like she determined to just be
Uh-huh.
a badass now. Like she's in control. And then the cop has to stay behind. But there just wasn't enough time for her to finish the deed.
Right.
And I'm gonna let you take it from here.
Yeah. So she does get a couple of whacks in, but none of them fatal. And then we see other lights pulling up, and it was the police officer. And he's running up to the scene. Michael Smart's like, "Help me, help me, help me." And Nita's just kind of crying at this point. And he gets the hammer away from her, kind of gets her away, and takes her off.
Yeah, there was very good acting there. When
It
she's
was
got that
very good.
hammer and she's got it up, and he's like, "Just give me the hammer." And she's like,
Yeah, just give me the
"No."
hammer.
She's looking at him like, "No, I have to
No.
do this. This is an evil, evil man." Like she's just looking at him like, "Nope." She wasn't
Uh-huh.
going to do it. And there was very like what I said about this actress in her facial expressions, everything
Oh,
was there. Like
yeah.
she's like looking at him with this pleading, like, "You don't know what you're doing. You're
Yeah,
ending the world right now."
can't you
Like,
can't stop me. Please don't
mm,
stop me.
yep.
Yeah,
Well, it was very dramatic. I
it
got
was.
goosebumps
I
when she had
know.
because she's holding that hammer straight like out,
Oh, yeah.
but not giving it to him. And I'm like,
Right.
it's like it was to me. It meant that pulled like, yes, stop me. I really don't want to kill people, but whoa, killing people
But
has to be
but please
done, or
let
everyone's
me
going to
do this
suffer.
one more.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't know what you're doing to not
Hmm.
only me, but to the entire world if you
Right. Oh,
stop.
hey, the world's going to come to an end. No,
Yeah.
no doubt about it. Yep. So, take us from here, Kim. How does how do we end this?
Well,
Poor. Hmm.
we we go to the police station, and she's in a room. They were kinda talking to her, and the male officer was like, you know, "She's she's lost her her brain. Her brain's just gone now." And she had made a comment to Gop early on
Hmm.
about her mom, and she was talking about, missing her mom and everything, and one thing she said was, "Everyone said she was mad." And now that's what they're saying about her
Hmm.
in the police station, is that she had gone mad,
That she'd lost her mind. She'd gone
that she
mad.
had lost her mind, she had gone mad. And we see Gop come into the room with her. She seemed pleased to see him, and we learned that he has been cast out to eternal oblivion,
Hmm.
but
Because they failed. They both
they
failed.
failed.
Midnight passed. Like she's in
Yeah,
the police station. Midnight is gone. Like, yeah.
midnight's gone, and It's going to happen. Apocalypse is upon them. But he can actually take a human, and he asks her to go.
He does. He holds her hand.
Uh-huh.
And that the touching scene of just the two of them with the realization that they did what they could. There's nothing they can do
Yeah,
now.
yeah, they
The
did everything they could to stop it.
the look on their faces that this was actually some kind of release, like they were free.
Uh-huh.
Well,
And they were going to be together.
yep, and they walked, and she don't mind because she thought that demon was hot because
Oh,
like,
yeah, she
like
did.
she didn't like that he was a demon, but he put
No.
himself in the perfect body for her, and he said so. From what
Yeah,
your brain is telling me, from your thoughts,
this
this is
is
what
what you
perfect.
want.
This is
This
what
is
you
what
want,
you
baby.
want.
And just that ending that was I still see it.
I know.
I still see the world coming to an end behind them,
Yeah, we see
and
that
see them walking in
the
the
fire just
looks,
engulfing.
how calm they look and
They look
peaceful, and they're
very
holding hands,
peaceful,
and they're
and
just
they're
walking
looking
off.
at each other as they're walking, holding hands, and they're
Hmm.
both smiling.
Yep. And here's where I ask you, just like I started the whole show, is it the end? Is it
Is
really?
it the end?
Although, thank you, Brooker, for actually giving us an ending. And I didn't
Right?
actually think it was an ending at first. And it was
I
actually
know.
MC Wrecker, who's here in the chat, and he watches these with me, and we talked about it. And he said, you know what? Brooker finally gave us an actual ending,
Yeah.
a real ending, and I liked it. And I was like, really? It was a real ending? So it's like, do you think they go off into oblivion? Like what? It goes, no, the world is gone. The world is gone.
Yeah,
And it's just them two. Like,
I
that's
know.
an ending. And
And
I'm
I
like,
even hit the
hmm.
watch credits to see if
Hmm.
I could get, like, an additional ending
Oh,
like I did
let's
with
talk
Stone is
about that.
Awful.
Yeah, and there's not, but
There's
can we?
not.
Okay, here's why I say, is it the end? What's going on? Because it also said, did you all say next episode?
Yeah,
Every time you watch it, it says next
it
episode, as
says
if there's
next
another
episode.
episode of season 6, and it
I
brings you
know.
all the
It
way
took
back
me
to
all the way
season
back.
5.
Oh,
What
mine took me back to season 1,
really? My It must be
National
like which
Anthem.
one you watch the most, because you know which one it brought me
I
back
know.
to, don't you, Kim?
I
It brought me
do.
right back to Striking Vipers.
Striking Vipers.
And trying to
Yeah.
figure out what it would be like to be a man free in that world, doing whatever
Uh-huh.
I wanted, whatever I was like, yes,
Right?
remember? It's like, oh, I
No,
could be any
mine
character. Oh, that's
mine
cool.
mine takes me back every time to National Anthem.
Okay, so
And, like,
that means that's
seriously?
so
Really?
I'm wondering, can everybody tell us what episode it took you back to if you did next episode? And is it the one you watched the most? Because I want to know if that's coded in. I really do. I want to know if that's coded in, if he intended that, because that's kind of
Well, I
weird.
can tell you National Anthem is not the one I've watched the most.
Gee, Kim, I was getting these kinky little vibes off you and the donkey there. I was going to start a whole new series for you, but hey.
Hey, hey,
No, I kid you. I kid you.
I love the
But,
donkey.
all right. So, all right, we're an hour and a half in. We can give it another 15, 20 minutes. Let's look at some of these. I'm sorry we went through with no questions on you guys. I'm kind of watching what
Yeah.
you're saying in the chat. But the first thing I want to address is the super chat that came in. Um, Thank you so much, Autistic Shield. I do appreciate your support.
Mhm.
And I'm glad that I'm hoping things are getting better. It seems that you've had a tough week. And I think a lot of us have, with a lot of things that are going on
Yeah.
out there in the social medias and on YouTube in general.
Yeah.
In just, all we can all do in regards to any of it that's going on is just stick to our beliefs.
Exactly.
Continue with all boundaries and all lines. Find like-minded people like ourselves that give us comfort in doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And just, we cannot actually change anybody else. That's the truth.
No.
It doesn't matter what we say about what they did, what we say about what we think is wrong. They actually have to get a clue and do it on their own. They
Yeah.
need to do the work. There's no avoiding that. We can't do it for them. There's no shortcut. And unfortunately, what I have found in this world is that that could be a long road, and some of them never get there.
Mhm.
And you just do what you do to be okay with you. period.
Yeah.
I know how frustrating that sounds. Believe me, uh, I deal with it constantly myself.
Yeah.
But I just want you
And
to
it's
be okay. I want all of you to be okay, not just you,
definitely
Stu,
okay to
but all
walk
of you.
away.
Yeah, it's okay to walk away
Mm,
from anything that's causing you any distress on these on that is not of your own making and stuff.
right.
Yeah. So, mm,
Yeah, I've
s-
had to walk away and look at people differently a few times this week.
yeah, and it is hard. A lot of us are involved with stuff that can be quite controversial. But
Mhm.
I will sit here today to say that I am not perfect. No, I'm not. And I'm not gonna, get on a soapbox about it or whatever. But we do have our boundaries and our lines, and we are responsible for what we cross, what we don't cross, or what we think is right and what we think is wrong.
Right.
And I will always hope to go forward doing whatever I do with consideration for others, the best that I can. Don't get me wrong. I'm still gonna do whatever the hell I want. And if I do that, I will suffer the consequences for it, and I will
Oh,
be
yeah.
accountable for it. That I can promise you.
And that's
That
something that
yeah.
you and I both understand,
Mhm.
Claire, too.
Yeah.
We do. We
Mhm.
understand that.
Mm. Well, let's talk. Let's talk
Let's
about
talk.
the ending did say Red Mirror. It said, "Thank you for
It did
watching a
say
Red
Red
Mirror
Mirror.
production." It's like a whole movie company. It's
Yeah,
like in the beginning, it said it was a Red Mirror movie production. Period.
it did.
Okay. And in interviews that Charlie has given, he has said that it was written not to be part of Black Mirror quite some time ago
No, it
as a
wasn't.
standalone for another project,
Yeah.
another series.
And this was actually what he wrote before he wrote any of the others for this
Exactly. So
season.
that's why they're saying watch it backwards.
Uh-huh.
Like I think that's where that's coming from.
I think
But
so too.
yeah. But I think we could go into greater detail about that when we talk about the whole season. What do you think?
I think so.
We
Yeah,
want
I
to move
think that would
would
be something good to
would you
do
like
then.
to move on to your favorite part of every series,
My
every
favorite
episode that we
part.
do? Yeah. No,
Oh,
the
I've got
favorite part of our series that you like. Like when we do the show, what's your favorite part of the show?
my favorite part of the show.
Yeah, we haven't done yet. Oh, come on. I know. Okay. How is it? Can you help me out here, chat? Because how is it that the Easter egg or reference egg queen, okay, doesn't get what I'm throwing down right
No,
now?
I
How
got
the hell?
you.
Okay. Well,
No, I
that's your
got you.
favorite part. That's where you
It is
shine.
my
Like you have
favorite
it
part,
right. So, like, where you like? Oh yeah, 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 yeah. You're
and
just trying to. Did
no,
Mrs. Cassandra pay you to do that?
no, she didn't. And I actually I sent you a little gem earlier, Claire,
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
about Doc.
Yes.
That's actually a demon that's described in works such as the Lesser Key of Solomon. It
Mhm.
is described as a prince in human form who
Yeah,
incites love.
I'm gonna drop that for them actually. Let
Yeah,
me
that'd be
drop that
great.
link. Yeah. And it's about the demon himself.
Uh-huh.
And
Okay, so just a few things that I've got. I've got like one or two things here. I've got to find out where I even started here.
okay.
Okay. Um,
Here is the listing in regards to Gob people
you
that she's
got it.
referring to that she sent me to amuse me today.
I did. I
Okay, so
found it. I was just like,
uh,
I wanted to look up something about him.
yeah.
Okay, so the song "Bright Eyes" that we hear at the
Okay.
first and the ending, it was performed by Art Garfunkel, written by
Yeah.
Mike Batt. It,
Okay.
is about a dreamlike state in which the person is unsure of what is real and what isn't, and it was actually written for the 1978 film Watership Down.
Mhm. Okay.
And
It's
I love that book.
all right. And that's very good. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, before we get to the obvious one, the talisman, which we already talked about. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Right after the talisman, we have her first victim, right?
Right.
And there's a very interesting tie in there. Nida's first victim is a
Uh-huh.
pedophile who assaults
Yes.
his 8-year-old daughter.
Uh-huh.
And we have to remember that Demon 79 is set in Tipley, where the
Correct.
pedophile ring that was the subject of the BAFTA-nominated documentary from Loch Henry. And that could be relevant here. There you go. At
I'm
the
so
BAFTAs.
proud of you, Claire.
Aren't, aren't you? Yes.
I
Okay. I had to.
am.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I got one more.
Okay.
It's from Maisie Day.
Okay.
There's a brand called Wolfie's Footwear.
Yes.
Okay. There you go. All right.
Yeah.
I'm
That
done.
was
That's
kind of
all
a
I
twist
got.
on
That's
that
all
one.
I got, people,
That's all
because
you've got?
I am well, no, there's more, but I want to give them all to you. Go ahead.
Okay. So
Because
the book that Nida is reading is Creative Visualization. Use the
mhm.
power of your imagination to create what you want in life. And this was
Mhm.
actually published in 1978.
Mhm.
The song that Boney M sang on the video was
Mhm.
Rasputin. It was
Yeah.
released in August of 1978, and Brooker kind of used that as a plot device to bring in that demon.
Yeah.
That's how I used that. Um, there was another song.
Mhm.
I'm looking for it. I'm looking for it. I'm looking for it. Okay, we already talked about the Z eyes from that was from the entire history of you, and that's when the demon is showing her what
Mhm.
could be. So we've
True.
got that.
Mhm.
Um, okay, in the in the room with Keith when they go back to Keith's flat,
Mhm.
the song that he plays is by Leo Sayer, "When I Need You" from
Right.
1977.
Mhm.
Um,
Well, all of the music that you see, here's the thing about how they work together as a team. All of the music that they used in it was prior
was
to
very
79 or
fitting.
right then. It was very
Yes,
much what was going on at the time, what would have been on the radio. Some of it American, some of it not. Okay,
uh-huh,
and because this was England, it was set in that town in England, a
right.
small suburb. It was I have to give them credit. The costumes, the cinematography, the way they laid out everything going on in the area, that was all
Oh,
spot
yeah,
on. And
yeah,
it always is. And as much as I didn't like or understand, it's not that I didn't like it. I don't understand why we're in the past here with all the episodes for
right.
season 6. I will say that every era they depicted was brilliantly spot on.
It was very well done.
Everybody working together as far as the
Yeah,
music, cinematography, costumes, the actors, everything.
yeah,
The whole look of it, even the
right.
filming of it. I mean, could you get any dingier than the
I
filming of
know,
the inside of Keith's house? I mean, come
right?
on, like, ugh.
Yeah.
And just the streets in the darkness,
Well,
and
and something that I had picked up on, and when Hillary and I were watching it this evening, she picked up on it also. When Anita was having those kind of, I want to almost call them a blackout moment, like where in
mhm.
the department store, she had one with Keith where she was strangling him, and then she had another one with Vicky where she was
Yes,
smashing her
she
head.
did. She had these moments, and that's what
Did,
makes, like, you kinda know she has it in her, but she
yeah,
knows it's
but
wrong.
did you
But she
notice
Yeah, but she's
on the
human.
filming it looked like old
Mhm.
film?
It did, it did,
Yeah,
it did. And
and
I
I
wonder
like
if
that.
it'll be in, like, another episode of, like, a Black
I
Museum
know, that's
episode,
what I'm wondering too.
Jujubee said that she had found one, but I don't know which one she's talking about. Do you wanna say what it is, Jujubee, or did we
Yeah,
already mention it? Well, I'll look for the comment after, but
right.
go on, Kim.
Yeah.
I've got more, but you're not hitting on them. You got on all
Okay.
the music, but,
So
oh.
okay, so there's another shoe there, and the brand name is Stanfield, and that's actually the surname of Cliff in Beyond the Sea.
It is in Beyond the Sea,
Uh-huh.
which was mm, a hard one also.
Right.
Well, there's another Loch Henry reference. Like, there's a lot of references right
There was
here
a
to
lot of
season 6. Okay,
references in season 6.
but
Yeah.
they're actually references that explain other episodes
They
prior.
do. They do.
Okay, because you remember in Loch Henry, they mention that a man named Michael Smart introduced those dogs that look like
The
the
robot
metalhead
dog.
dogs, the
Yeah.
metalhead dogs. Okay,
Uh-huh.
there's another shot again this
of the
time,
metalhead doll.
confirming that it was
Yes,
Michael Smart
that it
that
was
brought those
Michael
into
Smart.
the universe, like he's using them.
Uh-huh.
Like I said, he's evil, evil,
Yeah.
evil.
Now,
Okay.
did you
Um,
also notice on some of the filming with Michael Smart, the camera really zoned in on eye level facial recognition?
they
If you
did,
see
and
behind
yeah, yeah,
the drone
yep.
bees from
Mm.
Hated in the Nation.
Please don't bring them up.
I know they're your favorite, Claire.
No, I haven't watched that episode with Record yet.
Oh,
I don't think he's seen it, but I will be tortured forever
we
once
need a
that one
group
comes
watch
out.
for that.
No, we don't, because
Yes,
that's that whole premise of that still terrorizes me. No, like no, no, no. Yeah, I would need
I know.
tranquilizers to no.
Um, okay, so when Nita's in the basement looking through the news
Mm-hmm.
clippings,
Yes.
um, one of them says the store was opened by Tipley's Mayor
Mm-hmm.
Walton. Walton
Mm-hmm.
is the name of the protagonist in Callister, and the
Yes, it is.
article was said to be written by someone named Nicholas Murray. He actually works in the art department for Brooker.
Uh-huh.
Then there was the Tipley publican who died was named Robert Daly.
And we
He's
know
the
that
antagonist in Callister.
he plays, yeah, that was played by Jesse Plemons in
Uh-huh.
USS Callister.
Yeah,
He did a great job. Oh,
and
very good, very good. You caught that one too. Mm.
Callister was also directed by Toby Haynes, who
Yes,
directed this episode.
he did, and I like the nod to that. And thank you for
Uh-huh.
mentioning the director, because he's
Yeah.
really good.
And then
He
of
was
course,
really, really
we've
good.
talked about the talisman several times. Um,
Yes. Did you get that
mhm.
the UKNN, the right wing broadcaster, makes an appearance announcing the Britannia party? And it was that
Yes.
yeah, okay, it was
And
the
it was
UKN. Yeah.
yes, it was the UKN. And did you notice the symbol they used for the Britannia Party?
Mm-hmm.
Because it is
You mean
the
the one
white
that
bear.
uses white bear,
It's
like
the
with the
white
Union
bear
Jack?
symbol
Mm-hmm.
upside down with the Union Jack. Yes.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Yup. Absolutely. Yep. It was
Yeah,
like,
and in Lock
and there's a
Henry, we
mm-hmm.
got mention of that Smart was kicked out of his party and he was gonna be launching a new party.
Yeah. Well, like everything that we're seeing is like Michael Smart bringing all this awfulness to the
Oh,
world.
yeah.
The ADI stuff, metalhead,
Uh-huh.
okay, like you know the stuff going on in regards like with the party and everything. Also, the fact that it was actually Michael Smart, actually, who's going to unseat Michael Callow
Yes, and that
in a
goes back
surprise
to Joan
election.
Is
Yeah.
Awful.
Mm-hmm.
That went back to Joan Is Awful because Joan's ex got the notification on his phone about Joan Is Awful, and there was a blip on there saying that in a special election that Michael Smart had upset Michael Callow as
Mm-hmm.
prime minister.
And all of this is from that quick scene. That's a plethora of all
Right.
these little Easter eggs about Michael Smart and what he brings forward.
Yeah,
It's
and it's
all in
all
like
the
this
stuff
one
that
scene that triggers what's
yeah,
going to happen in the world as we see it. Okay,
it's like
when the
just
demon
a
is like
few
letting her
seconds.
know like what's going to be going on. It's all of this. It was freaking amazing. It was like
I
full of
know.
it was full of them. I was as I
It
was
was.
watching. I'm like, oh boy, Kim's going to have a field day with that
Oh,
shot.
you know it.
Yeah.
Well, and then when I came over here with Hillary, because I was like, I didn't even look to see if those newspaper clippings had dates. So we're watching it. I was like, okay, pause it, go back, pause it, go back, pause it. I was like, okay, none of them have dates on them. Okay. I was like, that's
Mm-hmm.
fine. Yeah.
Mm.
But I did find an error.
Yeah.
Yeah, a timeline error. And I was very shocked that I found it. And now I've got to look in my notes because, I didn't have time to type out my notes or anything. And so it's like I'm just kind of looking through real quick, seeing where
Mhm.
I put it. I thought I put it towards the end. The error. When they are first in the police station and the female comes into the office with the male and he's sitting there reading a book. and the book is by John le Carre,
Oh.
who
Hmm.
wrote, what was it? He wrote that trilogy, like Tinker, Tailor, something.
Tinker Tailor Smith. What?
Tinker,
No.
Tailor, Spy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was like the first book in the trilogy. He was reading the book Smiley's People, which is the third book in the trilogy.
Hmm.
Okay, so if we think about what the demon told Nita, that in 3 days' time, she needed 3 sacrifices in order to save Mayday from the apocalypse. So you're thinking end of April, because Mayday is May 1st.
Mm-hmm.
So we're at the end of April. End of April 1979, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Smiley's People was not published until November of 1979.
Oh. Hmm.
How could he have had the book?
He couldn't. Well, he couldn't have, but they had
It's
the
like,
error right, and we have to.
Brooker, what are you doing to me?
No, that would have been stage prop. And you know what? Also, we have to make sure that there wasn't a re-release. He might know something we don't. Before we say that, I'm gonna research
Double check,
because
because the
I'm
only
gonna,
publication
yeah.
I saw was November of
Mhm.
79.
Because if we find out there was a limited edition that spring,
I know.
you're gonna have to write him a letter.
I will. I will write him an apology. I will write
No,
him the best
but
apology
hey,
letter
these things
ever.
happen. If that's the worst he did as far as plot holes, then
I
hell.
know.
No, maybe
I
the
know.
hell. Like, what's that? Like, really? Because
Exactly.
really, when you look at this, when we look at how it was filmed and everything, it's at least it's a lot better than we're looking at like disaster. This was a disaster film where the
It was a
disaster actually
disaster film.
happened. Okay, and it was as advertised. It's the apocalypse, and the actual
Mhm.
apocalypse actually happened. Okay,
Well,
so good
and
on you, Brooker. You
yeah,
actually, I agree with Record when he says that we finally got an indie. Yeah,
yeah.
he
And,
delivered what he said. Yeah.
if you think about that time also, we were still in the Cold War, and
Mm-hmm.
there was actually an incident on November 9th of 1979, an incident with NORAD where
Well,
they had to
hmm.
actually release US bombers and missile forces. They
so
went
for
full
all
alert.
So for all you know, the listing of that book to bring us to that period of time was to indicate that. Like we don't know what Brooker was
It
trying to
could
do
have
there.
been.
Could have been a
I know.
mistake, or it could have
It
been
could have
us
been a
like
mistake.
just reminding us about what happened
Mhm.
around that time, and
But you know
and
me, I'm
what's going on.
always looking for little things
Mhm.
like that.
Well, what I want to see if anybody else saw was in the actual cinematography for this episode. Did anybody ever notice? Did you notice how much yellow and orange was being used, as if the world
Yes,
was already on fire everywhere all the time?
exactly.
Like every time you saw windows or anything like that, it was like I kept
Uh-huh.
thinking, well, it's already over. It's like a foreshadowing of what's going on.
That's
And
what I felt like
although
too.
I will admit that that period of time did have that colorization. Don't forget, we
Right.
had avocado green
We did.
appliances and
And
burnt
gold.
orange and gold carpets,
Yeah.
shag
And,
carpets, people.
even
Uh,
like street
yeah,
lights had
yeah.
an amber cast to them.
Yes, everything had this like this
They weren't like
orangey
the
green.
halogen
Yeah.
lights like
Mm-hmm.
we have now.
Yeah. But I did notice that everything was just tinged in a color. She's walking around in darkened rooms. All the rooms are darkened and
They
not
are
very
very
bright.
dark.
And everything has that hue to it, this orangey glow of a hint to it to me,
Right.
along with the darkness. And I'm thinking, wow, is like this whole thing on fire? Like are we
Yeah, I
yeah.
kind of felt like there was always that foreshadowing of what
And actually I got the impression of, is this what hell's like? Did
I
actually she never
know.
wake up from that bed and like
Did
I'm
she
gonna
never
learn that
Yeah,
she was dreaming about hell the whole time? Like
I
really?
know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
and I kind of wondered that was like, was the demon real, or was she actually maybe in like a manic crisis
yeah,
or a
I don't
mental
know.
health
I
crisis?
mean, there was mental health in her family. They said that
There
about her
was?
mother. Yeah. Well, they said that about her mother. Remember, she kept
Uh-huh.
saying they kept saying that her mother was. She did,
Right.
and and actually, the quiet, intelligent people who don't push back because they just think it's stupid what you're doing. A lot of people just think you're crazy. You
Exactly.
know. So who knows? Um, it is, you know what, small, cute puppy. It is like the pink cast
It
that was in
is.
Nosedive. It's kind of, I look for that now after watching
Yeah,
Nosedive
I do too.
because that actually, the hues of Nosedive actually did affect me and how I looked at everything in it,
Right,
and also the cold hues of $15 million, 15 million merits. Okay,
right.
how cold everything
Everything
was
was
colored.
stark and
Hmm.
everything was, like,
Yeah,
very sharp angles and sterile in
yeah.
15,000,000 Merits.
Yeah, Mousy, I do think she went a little numb, but
Yeah,
then
I think
she
so too.
actually looks relieved at the end when
She does.
Get he takes her hand and they're gonna go to the end together. She's the human he's gonna bring with him. She's gonna be a demon now, you know, if they survive. Like
Oh,
they both got
yeah,
to go
she
through
will.
training again. But
Yeah.
apparently she got the chops for it because when
Oh,
she
I
does
think
it.
she does too.
She kind of threw herself into it, like she was owning it. Um, you know, for a
Yeah,
bad man, for a good reason. But it brought up all those questions of like, when is two wrongs ever made a right, and do we
right.
cross our own boundaries just to make something right, and how uncomfortable do we have to be? In We got to
Yeah,
live with ourselves in whatever we do, and where are we going to draw that line? And
uh-huh,
when are we going to make exceptions? And if we erase a part of the line, are we allowed to go back and draw it again? Like,
right.
once she crossed that line to say Keith's life wasn't worthy, that she could kill him, how do you go back and put that line there
I don't
again
think you
after you
can.
walked over it? Like, I don't think you can.
I don't think you
In
can.
and these are the things that, yes, Brooker did it to me
I don't think
again.
I personally could.
Mm.
For me, I could not do it. I think there are people out there that, because of their morals and their ethics, they would have no
Mhm.
issue with it.
This is the ending question right here. This is the one we're going to end on, Kim. Do
Okay.
you do you think that the cop that stopped her from killing Michael Small, do you think he was sad he stopped her when he saw all those bombs? I don't know about sad. I would say he was remembering what she said.
I think
Like, you
so
don't know
too.
what you're doing. The world is going to end. Like, he has to
Yeah,
go.
he had that look on his face like,
Mhm.
"Oh, crap." Yeah,
Mm. Yeah, Liam says, I'm sure he was doubting his decision. Yep.
yeah, and Liam, I agree.
Yes.
It's a trolley problem, yeah, and
Yep. It
I've
is.
heard that so much with a
It,
lot of this whole season
I
from
think he was
people.
definitely having an oh shit moment.
Oh, yeah,
If not for the time constraints, I think we could definitely come up with 3 people who need to die. Yeah, yeah, I think we could.
right?
I think we could have. I did immediately. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny that we had different ones.
Yeah. Also, the world was jacked off in a different way if she didn't take out exactly, because we were
Right?
reading it and they told us the future. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like, basically
It pointed to some of the most horrible episodes of,
yeah,
as far as traumatic endings. The world actually came to an end somewhat in
right,
Metalhead. All
and
that was left was those dogs
you
in
figure in Metalhead, you're in a post-apocalyptic dystopian society in
being
Metalhead anyway,
being terrorized by those dogs because they
being
have
terrorized
overrun
by the dog.
everything. And it people are less and hiding and trying to keep away from them.
Yeah,
And civilization itself is dwindling and minimized. Everybody like trying to get away from them. Yeah, it's
exactly.
terrible, you know?
Yeah. I mean, you basically see no other living people in that entire not
Mhm,
like you go into a city and see people milling around in
mhm,
that. It's just so desolate.
mhm. But having to do it quickly and locally would be really hard. Exactly, you're gonna get caught. So are you willing to, like, give up your life for the world?
Right.
And then
And
you have
then,
to live with what you did.
if you think about also the episode Men on Fire or
Mhm.
Men on
Yeah.
Fire.
Yeah. Where everyone is forced to do stuff to keep their deepest, darkest secrets from coming out. They're being blackmailed, right? To do that? Is
No,
it?
that was
No,
Hated
that's not
in
the
the
one.
Nation. That
That
no, that
no.
was, oh, and I love that
Oh,
one too. Um,
oh, I know what you're
Shut Up
talking
and
about.
Dance.
Shut Up and Dance. That's
Yeah.
right. You're right.
No,
Okay.
the Men on Fire is the military.
It's the military one. Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
Hmm.
but we still see that kind of socioeconomic injustice, the racial injustice, even
Exactly.
in that one.
Hmm.
It was
Well,
very prevalent.
I gotta say, I wasn't disappointed.
I was
I
not
thought it
either.
was. I will watch this one again. I thought it was very gripping. I got it the whole way through. I still like every episode. I have a lot of questions, and I'm wondering what I should be thinking about. But that's why I watch it. I want to be challenged to think of things outside of the box.
Right?
But now let's go back to the beginning and do all of these episodes again. Well, we
Let's
are
do them
going to
all
do.
again.
I do invite you all to contact me that have anything to say about the whole season. I do in a few weeks want to do an open panel with more than just Kim and I, okay?
Please.
And actually have some people up here to say how you feel about the whole season in general, if you see any connections, if you think that there's a continuing message, if you see how it relates to the others, or how you feel in general about it. And we'll even, and then I do want to do an episode where everyone is invited again, not just Kim and I, although Kim and I have to strongly think about this. Our favorite episode from
Right.
season 6 alone, and
Yeah,
our worst episode from season
exactly.
6. And you have to be able to say why, because we really
O
want to talk about it. And
okay.
so we're not saying goodbye, although
No,
tonight we are, because we're
we
running
are.
out of time. But we will be back with at least 3 more episodes to keep you
Yes,
amused somewhat while you
yes.
wait for the rest of the episodes, which we know he already sold to Netflix. There's at least
And
7 more out there, right?
yeah,
Because I
there
believe they
are.
said
He
13.
13,
He
13 total.
contracted for 13. There was only
Uh-huh.
5. Oh, wait, there's more than that because there's
It's
only 5
5.
here. Okay. So we might even have a movie in the break.
Yeah,
Who knows? Like as we wait with bated breath on pins and needles for the next thing that Charlie Brooker drops
right.
on our heads. You see, I can't even talk. I gotta go.
And di well,
Just
did
like
you see though what Mousy put in? She's volunteering as tribute, and
I
she's
love
bringing
Demon
Juju with
79
her.
in case I didn't mention that.
Yeah,
I heard you mention it. And
yeah,
I know that you said that you watched this one a while ago and
uh-huh,
you loved it then. And you
and
keep saying it's your
she
favorite.
already volunteered to come up on panel, and she
And
says
I would love to have any of
she
you.
says she's
Any of
bringing
you. Yes.
Juju with her.
Okay. Both of you. All right. You're committed. You said it
Uh-huh.
right there in the chat, which is forever
I'm gonna
contained
clip
with
it,
the video.
Mousy. You know
Hmm.
I will.
And Mrs. Cassandra is thanking them and saying good night and being really
Yes,
nice.
I know.
Oh, Wrecker, you want up here? You got things to say? Yes. I think you've earned that. You've suffered through every episode. And believe
Right?
me, if anybody knows what watching a show with me is like, I yell at the screen. I talk a lot. I have things to say. I might even have to pause it. This man needs a medal for actually getting
You
through 5 episodes with me.
you
Because
should hear Lori and I.
yeah,
We
I
were, like,
right? Is
battling
she
back
like
and
that too,
forth.
Hillary? Because like this is why we can't watch it together. We would never ever get through it. We would be talking through the whole thing about what we were
Yeah,
seeing. We'd never even get it.
yeah, we were actually in the car, and she's like, "So what's tonight's episode about?" So I started telling her,
Oh,
she's like,
Juju
"Okay,
has
we're watching
wait,
it when we
wait,
get home."
listen to this. Listen to this. I want Wrecker on panel just to annihilate everyone.
Oh, thank
What?
you, Jew.
Wait a minute. He likes Charlie Brooker. I mean,
Yeah,
he's not gonna annihilate us, but he is
right.
gonna tell us what he thinks for sure. There's not gonna be anything that's gonna stop him from doing that. But just keep encouraging him, Juju. This is good. All right, so we have at least 3, 4, 5.
Yeah,
We can fit quite a few more. So step
we
up if you're
can.
interested. And I think on that, Kim, do you have some closing words for this episode?
No, it was a good season. Um, didn't know what to expect, and Charlie gave me the unexpected.
He did, and he did tell us it would definitely not
Yes,
be,
he
you
said
know
it would be different. It would not be what we were
mhm,
accustomed to.
yeah. You know what, small cute puppy? I would do watch parties, but Netflix has a thing that the ways that I can do
Right,
it are very difficult.
they are.
If I do it in the Discord, I could have a lot of people there, up to 100 at a time watching it. However, it's all encoded so that you
It
can't.
is encoded, and
And they do that because it is a paid streaming service and they
right.
have every right to protect their content. So I'm not really complaining about them. I'm just saying like why they can't. The only other way to do it is like through StreamYards, and they're really not going to want me to do that either.
No, they not
Um,
either. They
so it is
yeah,
it is a little difficult to
it's
arrange, but
very difficult.
yeah. Yeah. There are ways to set up streaming services to do watch parties, but you still can't run them through Discord. And I
No,
am not really good at any of the other ways yet. So I'd have to investigate it more. And
right.
oh my goodness. Wrecker's got the chainsaw minions after us. It's time to
Uh-oh.
go. I
Yeah,
guess you really want on panel, do you, Wreck? Okay. We got your seat. Don't worry about it. You don't have to threaten
right.
us. You're
No,
in. You're in. Juju and Mousy and Wrecker, you guys are definitely in. And anyone else who's interested, please get in touch with us. Kim, I can't thank you enough for doing this
thank
with
you,
me.
Claire.
I had
It
a
has
great
been
time.
a
It's been
true
interesting.
joy.
It's been interesting
It
these last
has.
few episodes. Well, we'll get together and schedule another one in a couple of weeks and decide
Yes,
how we're going to go forward with that and get in touch with everybody. But we'll try to keep you entertained while we wait. I mean, but let's be real.
we will.
We have to be honest that Brooker has left us waiting 18 months in between
Yeah,
seasons before, so it might be a while. But our love is not going to
maybe.
go away.
But
You
I'm
know.
sure he's already has things written out. So
True. I hope so. And I hope so. Although he annoyed the hell out of me a couple of times,
I
I
know.
can't say I'm still not a fan. I mean, the fact that
I
he can do
know.
that is good. So
There were a
there
few
you go.
times I was like kind of cursing him,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
then he'd do something and I'd be wanting to hug his neck again.
Ah. On that, we're off. Everyone, have a lovely night. I'll be on the shills tomorrow with a couple of very enticing news tidbits we're going to be looking at over there at 7 o'clock with Amy on Uncalled For. And I will be doing true crime on Tuesday. Kim, do you have anything coming up you want to shout out?
Um, no, I am working on getting my first full length video up. I've been editing and hopefully I can get it rendered tomorrow.
Well, then good. Then everybody, her channel is listed down below. So go and check it out. Give her a sub. So many of you have have channels that I want to shout out like all the time. Mrs. Cassandra over there at Shenanigans. Wrecker, who does what the actual F for me often on the weekends. Also, he put out a rap cover just recently. That is quite interesting if you want to go look at it. And he's streaming daily on Kick for music theory. Um, both all of you. Mousy Files, if you want to check up on the tank and
Uh-huh.
the fish and what's going on over there. There's a lot going on over there. Check it out. And I think let me just double check. All of you, just know I love all the small creators and everybody in our community. You can come to me. Let's talk if you need to. I know it's been really hard out there the last week or two.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm not ignoring it. And I think some of you know, you've already seen what I put out. But we'll be talking about that if you're interested on the shows tomorrow, actually. That is my number one topic, actually. So, on that, I'm going to say good night. Thanks again, Kim. It's always a pleasure. And for everybody in the
Thank you,
chat, thank you
Claire.
for contributing to the conversation because you guys make it so much more fun. I'm so glad you're watching this along with us because it makes it more entertaining for Kim and I, doesn't it? That,
It does. It's a
it's a
lot
lot
more fun.
it's a lot more fun than just the two of us talking to ourselves like
Right?
all the time about it, which was, got to be a bit much.
Yeah, it
So
did.
yeah, thanks for indulging us in our little passion here. And
Yeah.
long live Brooker's Hookers. Ha! Charlie,
Exactly.
you actually got me to say it on YouTube. There you go.
I know. I know.
Congratulations. Okay. On that, now we're really out. Okay. Good night, all.
We are. Good night.